This episode of Sideline Warning is brought to you by Roosport, makers of the original magnetic running pouch. Whether you're biking, running, hiking, or even traveling, the Roosport clips to your waistband with magnets for an easy, convenient way to carry what you need without the bulk of belts or bags. Visit theroosport.com and use the code SIDELINE30, all lowercase, for 30% off their entire product line. Again, that's theroosport.com, promo code SIDELINE30. And now on with the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, put down your solo cups and fried pickles because this is Sideline Warning, the show with the perfect balance of hot sports takes, amazing insights, and good Lord, amen, get off my lawn style rants. If you want to be a part of the madness, call the Blitz line at 931-44-BLITZ. That's B-L-I-T-Z, because that's how you spell Blitz. And now, here to recap this week's biggest and best stories from around the Southeast and beyond are your hosts, the phenomenal brother Adam Russell and the golden voice of the Southeast, Dave Adams. Let's do this.
And welcome back into Sideline Warning, everybody. As always, you've got the one, the only, the golden voice of the Southeast, Dave Adams, coming to you live and in living color from the top of the state of Alabama. That's right, Harvest, Alabama, because like Harvest, I'm on top of everything when it comes to the sports game. And as always, I have brought my friend along all the way from the House of Mouse, from St. Cloud, the one, the only, the phenomenal brother Adam Russell. What's going on, Adam?
I'm still standing in line for Hagrid's.
I thought Hagrid's was closed. Anyway.
I don't know if it'll ever open again between the rain and whatever else. But
Wait a sec. Wait, this is the wrong show, Adam.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Isn't unrelated at birth.
I'm watching sports on my phone while I wait in line for Hagrid's. Is that more appropriate? Is that better?
Kind of, maybe.
Yeah, kind of, maybe. I don't know. Either way.
We got some exciting stuff happening with unrelated at birth. Do we want to spoil them? Say what we're about 2/3 of the way probably done?
Oh, no, they'll have to listen to find out.
Okay.
It's perfectly worth listening to. You got to give it its own attention, everybody. Come on now.
Okay.
Give it a shot when it's time. When it's time, we'll let you know.
I think we're probably close.
I know we're close.
Okay. Before you and I go to Halloween Horror Nights, for sure, we will at least have.
Oh, well before that. Yeah, there's no doubt.
Okay.
No doubt.
And there's no doubt that we are well within baseball season.
Oh, yeah.
This is, the last two episodes have really been about baseball.
Yeah.
We got into the argument about esports, and I'm still shocked. I mean, people at work are still talking about that.
Oh, yeah. I'll bring it up casually to folks who have no idea that we even have a podcast. And it ends up being a 15, 20-minute conversation just on that. People who I never thought would have an opinion on that seem to very, very much have an opinion on that.
Well, you work with techie people. So
true.
Do they side on my side, or do they side more on your side?
They side right where everybody who's commented, and we're kind of that middle ground of it requires skill and it requires reaction time and reflexes, but it's not athletically challenging.
Okay.
And so it's that whole meets a couple of the criteria, but not all. Kind of thing. That tends to be where most people fall, somewhere in there.
That's kind of where I'm leaning more towards. I will give it right in the middle now.
Yeah.
But something that we do know is a sport is baseball.
It is.
And I do want to say, here we are. We're recording late, guys, and we've had some family issues. My wife's out of town, so I've had the girls this week. So finding a time to record it's been at a premium this week. But here we are. It's 11 o'clock your time.
Yep.
And the Washington Nationals just finished up sweeping the Philadelphia Phillies.
Hey, you're gloating, Dave.
I am. Adam, when are you going to say, all right, we got this? Because earlier you were not going to give AA and the front office any credit for doing what they've done. And I'm shocked. I didn't even tell you I was going to talk about this for a second. But when are you going to say, all right, Braves, you've given – tomorrow, Dallas Keuchel is going to be starting for the first time. So the big transaction that you've been begging for is going to be up in Atlanta. So when are you going to finally say, okay, AA might have done it?
September. I mean, it's not even July, man.
You're right, but usually at the All-Star break, I mean, we're 2 weeks away from the All-Star break.
Yeah.
2.5 weeks away from the All-Star break. Usually the All-Star break is when you say, all right, this is where the rubber meets the road. Mm-hmm. The teams that are here are going to be here.
Yep.
All right, so you're still not on board. You're still
sorry. I thought you were going further with that. No,
are you still not buckled up?
Half of July is the Phillies and the Nationals for the Braves schedule. That's about half of the month of July. So if we make it past the gauntlet, still in first place, we get to or just past the All-Star break, I'll start to consider it. But FYI, Keuchel was not the big anything that I was begging for.
Oh, no.
I thought Kimbrel was the way to go instead of Keuchel. But I did think it was great how you were talking about, was it text or Twitter or Facebook, one of the socials or the interpersonal communication methods that we use. And you're like, why do we even need a closer when we're going to beat everybody by like 9 or lose by 3? And then we promptly lost to the Mets by how many?
Well, okay. So
we exist in a world where the pendulum swings. So either we win by 13 or lose by 13.
So let's get, so I do have to say this. I played baseball in high school. I played baseball for 18 years of my life. And as a former baseball player, and guys who didn't play baseball aren't as superstitious as I am when it comes to baseball. I understand this. But there is a such thing as the baseball gods. And when the Braves scored 15 in a row, like two to three games in a row, I looked at the guy next, Brian Fussell, who called in last week, and said, hey, Brian, we've angered the baseball gods. The baseball gods are going to get us.
Yeah.
And then promptly the very game that I said that was when the Braves got just mollywopped. See? Baseball gods. You don't anger the baseball gods.
Or else you get mollywopped.
Got
it.
So, speaking of baseball, of the baseball gods, I think while you and I enjoy watching Major League Baseball, we enjoy watching it for the Braves. We enjoy watching our East Coast teams.
Yep.
You are in the Eastern time zone. I'm in the Central time zone. I think Major League Baseball has a problem.
Okay.
And the biggest problem, about a year ago, we had the discussion on here about who is the best player in Major League Baseball. And it's down to 2 players, Bryce Harper and Mike Trout. Most people will now say, and I think I've changed my tune. Earlier, I did say I believe that Bryce Harper could be the best player in Major League Baseball. But given what I've seen this year, given what I have read about this year, I think that we can easily say that Mike Trout is the best player in Major League Baseball.
Yep.
The problem that Major League Baseball has is 99% of baseball fans are asleep when Mike Trout is doing his thing. Last night, I'm glad we hadn't been able to record because this topic hasn't hatched until last night. Last night, Mike Trout had 7 RBIs, and no one knew about it unless you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning as you're getting ready for work to watch. Well, you can't watch SportsCenter because ESPN doesn't talk about baseball. To watch Major League Network or something to read. You can't even read your newspaper anymore because the West Coast scores aren't printed in the newspaper. Maybe open up your phone. I don't know.
If you're still relying on the newspaper, 931-44 Blitz. I want to know where you live and what you do for a living.
Wait. Somebody that I would think would maybe rely on the newspaper. Don't they live in Lakeland?
Oh, they're not for sports scores.
But your mom and dad probably still get the newspaper, don't they?
I don't know. It's a good question. I'll have to ask. I will report back next week.
They seem like the type of people that still would. I love your parents because they seem like that. But I think that Major League Baseball has that problem because you're already a 3-hour game. And I don't want to get into the millennial conversation here because we've
Mm-hmm.
done that the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But you and I and our parents and our grandparents, we enjoy sitting down and watching a baseball game because our attention span allows for it.
Yep.
I think that now this whole trying to shorten a ball game, it's almost watered down Major League Baseball. But I think that the problem happens now is because it's sitting there. The best player doesn't start until 9 o'clock my time, 10 o'clock your time. Kids, it's not must-watch TV for kids anymore. Like Dave Justice, Greg Maddux, those guys in the early 90s, the Mark McGuires, the Sammy Sosas, they were Central Time Zone, Eastern Time Zone, so it was easy to watch. NFL doesn't have this issue because their games are on mid-afternoon.
Yep.
College football doesn't have this issue because all the games are smattered across the whole day. What can Major League Baseball do to get more eyes on Mike Trout? Now, is this a Mike Trout problem because Mike Trout is kind of this low-key guy? Or is this a Major League Baseball problem to, I don't know, showcase their better talent in a better time zone?
Well, I'll say I think Mike Trout, and the reason that I would agree that he's the best player in baseball, kind of goes counter to the point that you're trying to make, Dave, because I texted you, I think it was this past week, actually. I think Major League Baseball has a television coverage problem overall to begin with. I know that we got the MLB network, you've got all these, but there's 162 games across 30-odd ball clubs, and there might be 2 games a night that you can easily catch without having to go dig to find out who's on like the local regional Fox Sports or something like that. Because the people who really, really, really are into it are going to know. Right. But just the casual fan, I don't know that TV until the playoffs roll around is where baseball really makes its money. Because once the playoffs roll around, you can get on TBS and TNT and Lifetime. And I mean, it's almost like the Olympics when the playoffs come around. You can get on just about any channel you want, right? But here's the thing about Mike Trout is you take the Angels who are next to last place.
Yeah.
They haven't won a divisional series since they won. Oh, actually, no. They won last divisional series they won was in 2005. They won the World Series in 2002. They've lost every divisional series they've been in since then, which is 4 or 5 times. Yet consistently since 2004, they are typically second or third in attendance of every American League team.
It's because of Mike Trout.
It's because of Mike Trout. Baseball's money is in butts and seats that buy concessions and overpriced beer and overpriced hot dogs and overpriced peanuts and tickets and parking and merchandise. Mike Trout sells jerseys, and he's a hero locally, which puts butts in the seats. For the Angels, for the last couple of years to be the second ranked team in terms of average attendance, home attendance,
right,
is mind-blowing when you consider their performance.
Well, and their park is
better than
really
the Red Sox. The Yankees
their
are the only
park
team that
isn't
beat them.
much of anything.
No. I mean, and they're in a place where you've got Disneyland and the Dodgers not that far away.
Right.
You have a lot of other things, but they are the epitome of, I think, that small to mid-market baseball team that gets the guy who fills the seats, and people love to love the Angels because they love to hate the Dodgers, and they love to root for Mike Trout. It's that root for the home team. It's in the song that you sing every game.
Right.
And I think that's why I would say Mike Trout is a better, quote, the best player, because not only does he perform on the field, but he performs in a place where he's not seen happily, because he fills butts in seats and he sticks with a team that's not winning, and he goes out there and he just plays for the love of the game. At least it would seem like. I can't speak for him, when he leaves at the end of the day. But the fact that he puts out those kind of numbers, happily does it, and he doesn't have eyes all over him. Another player, I don't know, so let's just say somebody who uses 2 hair dryers to fix their hair.
I'll say his name, Bryce Harper.
Would probably be searching for a market where they're seen more. And for him, it's not about being seen. It's about going out there and playing the game. Right. And I think those are the types of things. It's that kind of player you don't see in any major sport anymore. And I think that, yes, I agree. That puts Trout up there at the top in my book. But I think at the same time, I don't think it's about TV with him. or with his organization or with Major League Baseball.
See, here's where I agree with you. I do.
Yep.
But ever since the steroid issue with baseball, baseball has had a black eye. And I think it's going to take somebody like Mike Trout to bring baseball back to the heyday of how it was before the 1994 strike. Maybe after, maybe the 19. I mean, you and I remember the 99 season where McGuire and Sosa were chasing Roger Maris.
Yeah.
I still say McGuire was not on steroids. He was on androstenedione, which at the time was illegal. But
Maris did. Maris had none of that, legal or otherwise, right?
Right.
Maris there you go. Okay. So the three names should never be used in the same sentence, but please continue.
Okay, fine. We'll talk Barry Bonds later. Hank Aaron's still the rightful home run king.
Yep.
It was illegal when Barry Bonds used it. But I think that baseball needs to get back to that, I don't know, the mainstream, what everybody's talking about sport. I mean, baseball loves to call itself the national pastime.
Yeah.
It's not anymore. Football is.
Well, and it's a double-edged sword, though, man, because I think one of the main differences in baseball today and baseball when we were teenagers, kids, right? Mm-hmm. There's so many other things that can be watched, seen, consumed, turned on, turned off. I mean, there's thousands of other options for how people, including especially young people, can spend their time and what they can fill their eyes with entertainment, right?
Right.
And I think that's something that baseball's got to fight. But I got to say, when you see the Astros come up as a team like they have lately, when you see the Royals have that season they had, when you see Mike Trout having the Angels with the second highest attendance as bad as they are, the Braves are overcoming the incredible spend that another team in their division did. I think we're in that same time period. I think we're in that same kind of thing where the clean teams, the teams that just seem to have that plucky, nose to the grindstone kind of mentality are making it. While the big money Yankees and big money Bryce Harpers of the world aren't as great as money used to be. I mean, look at the Lakers right now in basketball, not to cross topics, because I know we like to stick on one thing at a time. But I mean,
we do that all the
baseball,
time.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, baseball is at that point, I think, where it feels like it's clean. I just think it doesn't feel like a heyday like it did because it's not the only thing on. There's a thousand other things out there that people can watch. And I think, but when you have the MLB network and you have a dedicated network, I think that consumes all of that demand that used to be out there. I think it kind of sucks it all into one place. And everybody else is like, well, there's just not enough money and it's justified sending a crew all around the country, different place every 4 days to do that. But I think baseball is in a heyday for the purest fan, at least. For like a true fan of baseball, I think it's a great time to watch the sport. It just may not be as widely popular as it was back then because there's so much other stuff. I mean, YouTube alone is just like completely changed the way people watch anything, man. And especially when or Facebook. I mean, they're the way that they show a baseball game has probably turned millions of people off to baseball thanks to Facebook Watch.
I'm so glad that the Braves regional network decided to actually carry the game last Friday when they said they were going to be on Facebook Watch because I can't stand watching a game on Facebook Watch.
Sports fans trying to make a sports platform. It doesn't work out. Or people who aren't sports fans, sorry.
Right.
I can't imagine there's a lot of sports talk in the Facebook HQ. No offense to you guys who listen if you do. I know we have a lot of people in San Francisco that are.
We have a lot of people in California and Massachusetts.
Yeah,
I can't even say the name of the state. Massachusetts.
Baston.
Yeah, there you go. Parthicon, Harvard Yard.
Baston.
But so the one thing I do want to, I agree with you to a point, Adam. But the one thing I do want to kind of take point with you, you say that we're in a heyday, but there's so much other stuff to watch. It feels like though when NFL is on, that's what you watch. So why not? Why is it not the same with baseball? Yeah,
there's just so much of it. There's just so much
enough in my book.
Well, yeah, of course, of course. You say the same thing about Monday Night Raw. What, can't it be 7 days a week?
No. There is a point. 3-hour Raws are way too much. It needs to drop back to a 2-hour Raw. Vince McMahon, never mind.
You're going to file that one away for the other podcast, and that sounds like we're gonna strike gold on that one. But
makes things get real loud.
Yeah, I think to your point, baseball's 3 hours long. Baseball's 162 games for every team. It's a lot of stuff to cover, and I think people get to a point probably about late July, early August. They're busy in the summer, and there's so many other things going on, and it's been on for so long. At least it doesn't feel like the NBA playoffs. The NBA playoffs feel like they last for like 6 months sometimes. Right. It's absolutely insane. But no, I think for me, the television coverage of baseball, while I do believe it is not as accessible as it needs to be overall, baseball to me has always just been like a social thing. You go to a baseball game. Right. You have it on TV, you have it on in the background while you're doing something else, or you're casually, watching it. Like I don't, and you may consume it differently than I do. I don't know that I ever sit down and watch a baseball game and my eyes are glued to the TV. Usually you are doing something else,
Adam, ask my wife how I watch a baseball game.
Oh my gosh. Amanda, 931-44 Blitz. That's 931-44 Blitz. Tell us how Dave watches a baseball game.
Oh, I need to get her to do it, because actually I'll try to get her to come on the show next week and just talk about it.
Yeah. Hey,
that would be fun.
That would be hilarious. But no, I think I agree with you in that especially things like Mike Trout need to have more coverage. They need to have more talk, and more airtime given to them. I just think it's tough with that much content to get something other than hey, it's 9:00 in the morning, you're watching SportsCenter. Did you know Mike Trout had 7 RBIs last night? Cool. On to the next thing,
Yeah. The problem, and this could get us on another tangent. I don't want to talk about your company, but the problem that a subsidiary of your company is
which one? Sorry.
Right. They own the
Continue.
world now. ESPN doesn't cover baseball. I mean, when you watch, first off, SportsCenter is totally unwatchable. It's all about politics. It's all about basketball. It's all about Stephen A. Smith yelling into the microphone. It's the only thing I will watch the only time I will actually turn ESPN on now is when it's a live sport.
Well, here's the thing. No, go ahead. Sorry.
Used to, when you were sick at work, when you were sick from work, or when you were sick from school, you would watch ESPN SportsCenter 6-7 times during the day and get something new each time because you missed the bathroom break or something like that. But now I can't even watch a full hour of it. It's almost getting to the point where I can't even watch College Game Day.
Wow.
But yeah, it's that bad. But ESPN doesn't cover sports anymore. They cover the entertainment part, hence esports.
That's funny because whenever I go to California, it always throws me off because I'll wake up in the morning and start getting ready to go into work, and First Take is already on sometimes. And it's like, or Get Up is closing, and it's like, wait a minute, where's SportsCenter? I just want to see, I want to catch up on what's going on. So the people out there don't get what everybody else gets to get caught up on, but everybody else needs it to get caught up on what they did overnight on the West Coast.
Yeah, funny. So it's a catch-22.
Yeah, it really is.
That's why, I love, and I think you and I've had this conversation before, MLB Network, their quick pitch show, it's a good 5 minutes of every game and gives you the highlights.
So maybe ESPN knows that they've cornered the market, that First Pitch and MLB Network have cornered the market on baseball coverage. Maybe they just...
Not everybody can get the MLB Network. Everybody can get ESPN. For those that are on Hulu, they don't have
MLB
true. Network.
That's true. I was going through streaming platforms in my head. Sorry.
That's why I switched from Hulu to YouTube TV.
Oh, YouTube TV is great. Sorry. YouTube TV, if you want to sponsor. We have a new
931-44 Hey, we don't have a Blitz line for unrelated to birth.
I thought we were just going to give out your cell phone number.
I thought we were going to give out yours.
We'll give out a man.
407.
Beep, 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 beep.
That we are okay with giving our cell phone numbers out to is our good sponsors, Roosport.
There you go.
Adam, tell them about Roosport.
Well, guys, you hear us every week. The magnetically attached pouch attaches to your waistband without the buckle belts or bags so that you can carry everything that you need when you're hiking, running, traveling, music festivals, tailgating, theme parks, walking your dog, training your dog. We come up with so many new ideas and use cases just about every week, it seems like, but it's a product that we will love, we use when we train and all the other things that we do where we found that we can get a use out of it. It holds everything you need. And I think that's one of the things that we've talked about. I want to reiterate because I don't think we said it is it's hot right now. So there's not a lot of running going on. So those alternate use cases are probably more on people's minds than running right now. But whatever the use case is, just knowing that you can attach something to your waistband, throw what you need in it and head out the door. You don't have to worry about lugging anything around, throwing a bag over your shoulder, anything like that. It's a great product for a lot of different uses.
Yeah, it really is. I know I've found it useful for just about everything. Heck, my daughter even uses it when she's going to swim. She'll bring it down to the pool and put stuff in it. It's a very versatile bag. It's big enough that you can put a phone in. It's big enough you can put some treats in. It's big enough that you can put some candy in. Yep. If you're going on a walk with your kids and about a half-mile point, your daughter says, "Daddy, I'm tired. I want something to eat. Here's some gummies. Shut up." But they sell more than just that bag, though. They've got that Roo Lounger. They've got the battery packs. That they really are a good company, and we say it every week too. They are good people as well. Yep. So if you're going to buy Nike, Under Armour, Adidas, whatever, you don't know if it was made in a sweatshop in Indonesia or if it was made in America. You know that this product was made with some love. So, yes, made in America.
Salute. I was going to say, it's actually perfect. You've actually created the cycle of Roo Sport now where you use it to carry candy for your kids. When you eat all of the candy and your kids don't get any, then you have to turn around and run to lose the weight so you can use your Roo Sport for running. So to gain the weight that you then have to run off, Roo Sport will help you with all of those things. That's the cycle.
There you go. www.theroosport.com. Use the promo code Sideline30. That's Sideline30, all lowercase, the numbers 30. And they'll save you 30% off your entire order. So now I want to get into a topic that might, I don't know, might make me a small hypocrite. A couple weeks ago,
we might be getting into a topic, I guess, that could possibly, I don't know. It's like you're the king of caveats on that one. That was hilarious. You have more asterisks on that one than Barry Bonds. But please, continue.
Okay. But a couple weeks ago, we made the argument, or I made the argument that the unwritten rules of baseball need to go away because it's hurting people. It just needs go away. But I think there is one unwritten rule in baseball that might not be a bad thing. Was it about a week ago, Adam, or was it early this week? It was the Cardinals, and I don't even remember who they were playing. But Matt Carpenter was up to bat, and they had an uber shift on. Like, I've never seen a shift so bad. Yeah. The third baseman was basically playing at second base. And the unwritten rule of baseball says you don't bunt to break up a no-hitter. There is an unwritten rule about the shift saying it's okay. I think that rule, the shift is not okay. The shift sucks. And it's for this reason. It's not smart. Matt Carpenter basically bunted to the third base bag and got a double, an infield double. Yeah. So why are teams still putting this shift on? Yeah, it might help a little bit, but if you're thinking it's going to be that bad, pull your outfielder up a little bit and play in the gap. Yep. What purpose does this serve?
I mean, the way that they shifted on that when they basically told him, our scouting report says you can't in a million years put it over here.
Right.
I mean, literally there was almost no one in the entire from second to third base, no one on the left side of the infield, right? For me, I think when we talk baseball movies, you can probably guess next week when we talk that, you can probably guess which one mine is. But
Natural,
no,
Bull Durham,
no,
Field of Dreams,
no,
Summer Catch.
no.
Okay.
Fever Pitch. Is that a baseball movie?
Yes, it is.
Adam Sandler
awesome.
and Drew Barrymore, right?
No, Jimmy Fallon.
Jimmy Fallon, that's right. So great. So great.
So great.
So great.
What's so funny, side note about that, Jimmy Fallon's a huge Yankees fan.
Oh, that must have hurt.
And he had to play a huge Red Sox fan.
This is the funny thing. I figured this out with that. It's easy to go from Jimmy Fallon to Donald Trump. Ready? Jimmy Fallon. It's so great. Donald Trump is so great. See, it's very quick. It's the easiest transition in the history of impression. So anyway, that aside, I completely forgot what I was going to say. I don't think it's a problem to do the shift. I think you're playing tendencies, you're playing the odds, you're playing things that you've seen a player over. You're using data to your advantage. The problem with the shift that bad is you're falling into a mentality of baseball that my favorite baseball movie and book, there's a hint, went against, of the old way of doing baseball, the way of, let's put the shift on. It's very like 1950s way almost might be of playing baseball. And I think to do one that extreme is a little bit ridiculous. But I agree with the idea of using data and statistics and tendencies to play out your strategy on the field.
So while I agree with you in that fact that the shift it brings data and tendencies and everything and that, I think that what it's doing is it's taking away the pitcher's mindset. In the 90s we had Greg Maddux. They didn't really do the shift for the Braves. I don't even remember Bobby Cox employing the shift ever. Yeah. Greg Maddux was out on the field pitching the ball where he wanted the batter to hit it.
Yeah.
Glavine, Smoltz, all those guys. So are we really saying now that pitchers aren't as good as they were in the 90s? That now you have to rely more on the fielders and more on the batters have gotten better to where they can manipulate the pitcher as opposed to how it was in the 90s? Or is this the live ball era where everything goes?
I think maybe you could give them the benefit of the doubt and say maybe that the hitter versus the pitcher that was on the mound, maybe that pitcher didn't have the right arsenal to do that. Maybe they just didn't have the right pitch, and they were a 2-pitch guy. Maybe they were a closer. No, I'm kidding. But I think it might be situational. I don't know that they've done one that extreme before. I doubt they'll do one since.
Yeah,
but I think that's a strong. Talking about letting data play out, I think that's a strong piece of data to not do it, and I think that plays those types of things. I think that was the best thing that Carpenter could have possibly done, because then it takes, okay, you want to do the shift on me, I'm going to hurt you another way, right? And you take what they give you, and I think that's truly what the defense needs to do is prevent them. Don't give them anything that obvious to take from you. Right. And I think that much of a shift hurts you in that because it gives you an obvious thing. But anyway, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. It blows my mind too. You were talking about no one really sitting watching a baseball game. Well, I do. The Braves, whenever the Braves play, the teams that they're playing will do a shift against Freddie Freeman. Yeah. Well, if you look at his spray chart, a lot of his home runs are opposite field. So how does that help you doing a shift against Freddie Freeman?
But you're not going to field a home run.
Well, no, but even when he's hitting the ball on the ground, I mean, are you just banking that he's not hitting a home run, that he's going to hit a ground ball?
For the most part, yeah.
See, that's stupid. I don't understand
why
they do
That's 1950s baseball. That's old school baseball. I mean, that's the way it's always been done.
I guess growing up watching baseball, I just watched the Braves, and I never really saw the shift that much growing up. I don't think that the shift like this, like these extreme shifts, I think that's a new thing. In fact, I think that that's a product of your disciple, of your savior, Billy Beane. Your data guy. I think that the shift is a product of Moneyball.
So metrics and sabermetrics and data have ruined baseball in more ways than one?
I think so. I said it last year when we had the guy from ESPN on.
Yeah, you did.
That I am not a sabermetrics fan. I like strikeouts. I like walks. I like ERA. I don't want to know how many extra wins over replacement this guy has. If Ronald Acuna is better than Ender Inciarte, and I can see that, Ronald Acuna is going to play. You can't tell me that, Acuna has a 5 WAR, whereas Inciarte maybe has a 8 WAR, so I'm going to play Inciarte over Ronald Acuna, even though Ronald Acuna maybe has a better bat. Adam, you're getting the book out because you know
I'm just letting you go. Go ahead.
I really don't think that. I think that there is no. I mean, there might be a place for sabermetrics in baseball.
Sabermetrics is not for is Ronald Acuna better than Ender Inciarte, and I think that's the thing. Is the beauty of statistics is it helps you find the hidden. The danger of statistics is, number one, any number and analysis can be spun any way to justify any story at the end of the day.
Right.
And number two, they can be over-applied. And I think in a lot of cases, sabermetrics is over-applied. Because let's just say that the way the numbers panned out, Inciarte had a higher WAR than Acuna. If you used only sabermetrics to make a decision, you would keep Inciarte, get rid of Acuna. That'd be the most boneheaded thing anybody could ever do. But if, like my, quote, savior, Billy Beane, had a limited budget and didn't have the draw through the A's at the time to do much with the big name players that were out there, it could help you find the right players to plug into your team to actually pull off something pretty amazing. And I think that's the beauty of Moneyball for me, is it introduces, and the beauty of the book behind not the Michael Lewis book, but the other book behind it, is that it introduces a new way of thinking in the right situation. But when everybody wants to look at WAR as a way to look at every player and compare everybody together, it's over-applied at the end of the day. It's like the shift. If every time someone came up that was a left-handed hitter and you put the shift on them because everybody's tendency on the left-hand side is to go to one side or the other, it would never work. They would just opposite field you every time. Right. But if you put the shift on in certain situations where you found it to be the case 75% of the time that something happens, then the odds are in your favor and you're making a smart decision based on stats. So I think it's all in the application. And I think it got over-applied because a book was written about it.
Yeah, I was going to say, let me ask you this. How many championships has Billy Beane won? 0.
Yeah, you got me there.
Yeah, 0.
But that's the thing.
How many championships did Steinbrenner win doing it the old way?
No, I don't disagree. I'm not saying that sabermetrics builds championships. I'm saying have you ever heard of or read the book Freakonomics?
I haven't read it, but I've heard of it.
Good read if you ever, want to try it out, right? but it's the whole principle behind that kind of idea is that there are hidden things that are in plain sight. That if you mine just a little bit under the surface, you can find something. And it may not ever be enough to win a championship because at the end of the day, baseball is a physical thing that you have to see with your eyes and touch with your hands, But it might plug some gaps in that help you, But I don't know that. Anybody could write a book that says you're going to win a championship if you follow WAR and look at wins above replacement to find people and that type of stuff. I don't know that it could ever do that. I mean, doesn't mean it doesn't have value. But the Angels don't keep Mike Trout because they think he's going to win them a World Series. The Angels keep Mike Trout for the same reason. Okay, I know the look you're about to give me.
Oh Lord!
The Angels drafted Mike Trout. And the Angels keep Mike Trout at the end of the day for the same reason that Liberty Media has the Battery. Because baseball is a business. He's taking his head. You don't even want to hear it. Your ears are burning. Baseball is a business, and it's about butts and seats.
Right.
And what Billy Beane knew he had at the time in Moneyball was there was nobody who was going to fill butts and seats. He wasn't going to draft that huge player. He wasn't going to make a big splash with a name. So he had to do it with wins. And he pulled the right people at least to get him in the playoffs, and it worked for that one season. And whether or not it should have then been adopted as something that everybody should do is a question that could be answered on another day. And I don't necessarily disagree that it was over-applied. But it's about butts and seats at the end of the day, not necessarily always about winning a championship.
All right. Well, I will give you that, and I will say we'll we will agree to disagree on that topic. How's that?
Now, let me just stipulate for everybody listening right now, I am not saying that Mike Trout and the Battery are the same thing.
That's what I heard.
One is evil and detestable, and the other is a great slice of Americana. I'll let you guys decide which is which.
He just spent the entire first half of the show gushing over Mike Trout. You decide which one's which.
I was talking about the front office of the Angels. Never mind, anyway. Our listeners understand what I'm trying to say.
Okay, I understand. Do we want to give them a little preview of what we're going to do next week? Because I think anybody who's friends with me on Facebook has seen what I've done the last couple of days. The last couple of days I've asked some pretty broad painted questions on Facebook, on our Facebook fan group, and also on my personal page. I think that we are going to talk memories. Sports is something that brings out a lot of memories, and it's a very memorable topic.
Yep.
I think that the best way to remember something is to talk about it. And I think that we need to remember and talk about your first experience at a college football game. I think that I know that my grandmother's got some cool ones. She called me and told me to share some of them. I know you've got some cool ones. I'm sure your dad can probably call in and tell some cool stories.
Yeah.
Virgil 93144 Blitz. I need a call this week. Tell us about your first college football game you got to attend, not watch. First college football game you got to attend. And then we're going to talk about, I am going to try to attempt to give you my top 5 favorite sports or favorite baseball movies. It's very hard for me because I can roll off 7 right now that I can put it, that I would easily be able to put it first.
Okay.
Field of Dreams, Field of Dreams, Bull Durham, Major League 1, Major League 2, For the Love of the Game. It's a comedy, I know, but I'll put I love Summer Catch, 8 Men Out, Pride of the Yankees. All of those have a special place to watch. I will. The Natural, I forgot The Natural. How did I forget that? I can probably quote much of a lot of those movies.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you name your top 5? I even didn't name Moneyball, and I love Moneyball.
Yeah.
Can you name your top 5 favorite baseball movies? I'm going to give you a couple days to think about it. I think I had 50 something people, 50 something comments on that one. So we'll talk about what everyone else said, and I had somebody say that they didn't know some of the other baseball movies that I put in the picture up there. We'll maybe talk about that as well. I think Blair actually put her top 5 in.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that too. If you have some that you want to get in, 931-44 Blitz, I'm doing your job. Dadgummit. Adam, what's the number to call?
You got excited. Yeah, 931-44 Blitz. There, we'll both say it. Now, give us a shout. You'll hear a brief message from Google that it'll kick over to our voicemail message after the beep. Leave the message there. We'll get it on the show. We'll play it, and we'll talk about it. 931-44 Blitz.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this because sports memories are something that you and I, heck, the first time you and I hung out was at a women's basketball game.
Yep.
We played Georgia, and you wrote an editorial in Crimson White.
We've been passionate about sports for a long time.
Yeah, just a little bit. Oh, and by the way, I do want to on this show make a point to say, hey, Vance, I do like women's sports. I don't like women's soccer, but I do like women's sports. You put me on blast on the Facebook fan group saying I don't like women's sports.
That is not true. You should see this man in an Alabama gymnastics meet.
Fall!
Fall off the ball. Bust your head. Anyway. Now,
not bust your head.
I have to say one thing about Dave. Come on now. Come on, you were thinking it. No, so one of the things we went out to eat on I think it was Father's Day itself. We went to a local place here in town that's known for their wings, and walked in, and it was 3-0. The women's national team was up, and it was early in the first half period. Communist triad, whatever they call a half of a soccer game. So it was
Are
early
we talking
on, right?
soccer on this?
Yeah, just hang on. I have a point to make. So it was
Okay.
3-0. We check in at the thing. We finally get our table. We sit down. The game was on the entire time we were there, and they didn't score another goal. I literally think it is physically impossible for me to have a soccer game on in my immediate vicinity and have somebody score. Every time they would get close, and like the 5 people watching it over in the corner would be like, like that, and then they would miss. And I said it so many times that my kids started saying it for me. Even Emma started saying it for me. Oh, that's soccer. Every time they'd miss a goal, oh, that's soccer. So
Well,
anyway, just a
any
little
sport
aside.
where you're happy tying is a commie sport to me. I think the second greatest Alabama football head coach said it best: tying's like kissing your
Second
sister.
greatest.
But anyway, follow us on the socials at DAdams419, at Runtide Run, at SW The Show. Like us on Facebook. Just search Sideline Warning. Also search the Sideline Warning Facebook fan group. You like how I just threw that in there?
Well, I like how you threw it in there heading into your outro, where I don't usually say anything, so that you could say it and then end the show like that. Anyway, continue, please.
All right, guys. Hey, we say it every week. We do mean it, and I know it gets glossed over, but we do mean this. We love you guys. We love the fact that you take time out of your day to listen to two random guys' opinions. We're opinionated anyway. We're going to give them whether you listen to it or not. But we appreciate that you take time out of your day to listen to us and interact with us, because that is fun to us.
Yep.
But guys, we do love you. We will see y'all next week. Roll Tide. #ChopOn. See y'all next week.